5 children have died today. Yes, that's very true. The United States has the worst record in the industrialized history of a nation, losing 5 children every day to abuse-related deaths. Childhelp.org. Here you go. Here are the stats right here. 5 plus deaths a day. What are these deaths caused from? Well, these deaths can be caused from a variety of different types of abuse. Let's talk about those. 78.3% of abuse is neglect. And a lot of people are like, well, what's neglect? You know, because it's such a wide variety of things that could be neglect. For example, if for some reason you go into a store that's adult related and you take a minor in to that store with you, you can be in trouble for neglect. The kind of neglect, though, that I think is the absolute worst is starving a child, neglecting to emotionally connect with a child, and, just outright ignoring the child like it's not even there. This happens all the time. And with that type of neglect, just not caring for the child at all, not changing their diapers, letting them be dirty and all of that, comes the 17.6% of people who physically harm their children. They can do this by hitting them, beating them. A lot of times it's so, kids who are under the age of 4 die because they're so severely beaten. 9.2% are sexually abused. And we all know what's involved with sexual abuse. Very tragic. 8.1% are psychologically abused. And I have a good example of that coming up in just a moment. 2.4% are medical abuse. Maybe a mother takes her child to the doctor all the time, has Munchausen syndrome, and is purposely making their child sick to get attention. And 10.3% is other. Now, what is other? Other could be several forms of neglect all in one. A child could be starved, physically abused, and sexually abused all at the same time. So, unfortunately, these things happen. And it's very, very sad. Here are some alarming facts. Child abuse is reported every 10 seconds. More than 5 children die a day from child abuse. Approximately 80% of these children are under the age of 4. And it is estimated that between 50 and 60% of child fatalities are due to maltreatment. And they are not recorded as such on the death certificates. Meaning these parents are getting away with maltreating their children. Here's a couple of people who have psychologically abused their child. Stephanie Broughton and Daryl Landrum. What did they do? Well, they told their 12-year-old daughter that if she came home with bad grades, that they would shave her head and make her run around outside in a diaper. Well, maybe their 12-year-old didn't believe that would happen, but she came home with an F on her report card. And her punishment was just that. According to the Huffington Post, these 2 people shaved that little girl's head, put her in a diaper, and made her do wind sprints outside. She drew a crowd of over 50 people who were young teenagers and men. Well, when the authorities showed up, Stephanie and Daryl were laughing. They thought it was funny, and they couldn't believe why the police were taking them to jail and interfering in how they punished their child. How could they think that? Here's another story of another little girl. Her name's Alexis Pounder. This little girl died at the age of 3 because she was starved and beaten, according to her autopsy report, theexaminer.com. Here are some disturbing facts about this case. The couple caring for her lived with a lot of people, and not one of those people reported the abuse and neglect this child suffered. Why? Because many of us feel, well, that's their business, or they don't want to get in it, or maybe they're afraid that, they'll find out somehow that they are the ones that called on them. But I'm telling you, these children need your help. How can you help? Well, here's one simple thing you can do. If you suspect child abuse, call the National Child Abuse Helpline, 1-800-4-A-CHILD. If you don't stop this, who will? I'm Chrissy. Thank you very much for taking the time to listen to me today.